Panna 44, Sunday, July 16th, 1978. The true essence of spirituality is to understand life properly. At first, we felt the need for ourselves. Because of that, many needs have arisen. The goal is to find out where exactly we stand in all this, whether there is any everlasting truth in it. The stages of life are subject to change. They were not there before birth. Even the state of being a woman or a man does not last. Religion, God, etc. are medicinal doses for these stages. You know that no state of being is permanent, yet due to delusion, you take them to be true. A rare one knows these stages. The fundamental state is that you know you are. This is the root stage, and it is miserable. One must know for oneself what is changeless in this. It is not found in wakefulness, in sleep, or in samadhi. Our consciousness itself is not permanent. When it ends, we say one is dead. One no longer knows that he is. Realize that no memory lasts forever, and be free. The feeling I am will not last forever in any form or by any name. What was created will surely end. The life force has no consciousness by itself. When it gets a form, beingness is created. The form is beingness. For the one who knows his true nature, this puzzle will be solved. The rest of them talk by inference. The main attachment is your beingness. Have you not got the knowledge of your beingness now? And is it not a fact that you did not have that knowledge before? It is said that the world is an illusion. Why is it so? The reason is that your beingness does not last. Consciousness is the seed of the world. When it sprouts and expands, it becomes space. Seed means what was not seen before is now being seen. The light of consciousness means the light of the sun and the moon. It is like a dream of daylight in the middle of the night. Wakefulness is like that dream. The seed means duality. The seed quality of God's consciousness is present in all beings. One who knows himself perfectly is called Satguru. He also knows how and why this imperfect consciousness is created. Krishna said, "Whatever is myself only, yet I am different from all this." Krishna's discourse in the Gita is truly unique. It is a great fortune to be able to hear it. It is a great fortune to be able to contemplate on it. The greatest secret is consciousness. Put your faith in only that. One who understands this will not have rebirth. People worship deities for their personal satisfaction. However, the lasting satisfaction is one's own true nature. You alone can achieve that. One who takes himself as the body is never satisfied. Always contemplate on what you have heard. That is the most important worship. If there is no listener, what will be the need for God? Worship consciousness in your heart. When you are successful in your contemplation, your worthiness will show. In the waking state, to remain without thought is the greatest worship. You should not feel, "I am so-and-so," while carrying out your activities. Put aside your knowingness and worship your true nature. The Ganges flowing from the head of Lord Shiva symbolizes spiritual knowledge. As long as you believe that you are not everlasting, the eternal will elude you. You cannot ever forget the eternal. Endless rituals are not able to uncover the truth. They may wrap you up even more. Whatever you see and sense will not last. When you have the awareness that you are neither a man nor a woman, you will be beyond consciousness. Once the self is realized, everything becomes sacred. Bathing in holy rivers will not remove your ignorance, nor will mantra, nor spiritual penance. Association with one who abides by the Guru word is enough. That is the knowledge through which sleep and wakefulness are known. It is the light that illuminates the sun and the moon. This light is yours only, but not as a human being. It belongs to consciousness. It exists in the heart of every being. It is the self-sensing consciousness in the body. There is nothing more glorious than this knowledge. To be exactly like the meaning of these words, full faith in the Guru is needed. One who abides by that acquires the bodiless knowledge. Krishna said, "This is my true nature. It is behind your memory. Neither the body nor the ears have the power to hear. It is the true nature that listens through the ears. It knows Samadhi, yet Samadhi does not know it. To achieve that with conviction is all that is needed. No ritual can ever reveal one's true nature. All methods are of bodily nature. Without the existence of this atomic consciousness, there is no support at all for any being, the world, or Brahman. The essence of all knowledge is the self. When falling asleep, say, I am only the pure consciousness. By following various methods, you will not find that which is already and naturally there. Who recognizes consciousness? Is it not the one who knows time? Krishna says that consciousness which knows all this is my true nature. When there is the conviction that this birth is not true, the various concepts will not arise. One who knows the transient is eternal, perfect Brahman. A true devotee is not bound by anyone. He may perform rituals, but he is beyond them. To worship God means to be convinced that God is none other than ourselves. If there is no saguna, manifest, how could a mention be made of nirguna, unmanifest? Hence, both are not there. Nirupana 45, Thursday, July 20th, 1978. When you take refuge in the Guru word, birth and death will come to an end. Your consciousness is the Guru. If you identify yourself with the Guru, it will be seen that there is no Maya, but the manifest Brahman pervades everywhere. The Guru word is, you are without body form, without karma, without birth and death. You will realize that Maya does not give miseries, instead she serves spiritual effort. When you get identified with the word of the Guru, you will spontaneously realize what Maya and the self are. It is the idol of the Guru. This identification will create knowledge of the self and understanding of Maya. Remain with that always. Deep sleep will be the only break. Love of the self in the body is self-luminous. All the names belong to self-love. You should meditate. However, consciousness itself is the meditator and also the listener. Meditate with love and devotion. Then you will understand all this through your consciousness. It is the essence of the body with its sweet flavor and is the most important. Who does not love his beingness, the sense I am? Without consciousness, who will practice devotion? By nature, we are consciousness, love, and joy. Surrender to consciousness without duality. The ever-luminous consciousness shines as the sun of your own true nature. When properly understood, the mire of body consciousness will be removed. Non-dual devotion is devotion to our own self. Pay attention to that which is continuously with you. You must feel its necessity. Your consciousness has gone through millions of incarnations. It knows its greatness as given by the Guru. It is the knower of time. It is your true nature. The great sages became like that by worshipping their consciousness. The Guru word is that you are the subtle consciousness that has become the world. The world can be known only if consciousness is there. It is also called Brahman. The Self is immortal. It is the peace eternal, an ocean of bliss. Without this knowledge there is no day or night. This knowledge does not forget you even if you go about in body consciousness. One who realizes himself becomes Brahman. His word uplifts humanity. Your consciousness is the idol of the Guru. It is the love of your love as I am. You have loved many things. Have you loved the one who motivates you to love? Become worthy of the faith of consciousness. It will provide you with everything. One who knows Prana cannot be seen. Prana is ever awake, even in deep sleep. One who knows that all worldly dealings are untrue is indestructible. Remember that. Nirvikalpa 46, Sunday, July 23, 1978. As long as Prana and the body are together, there is consciousness. When Prana leaves the body, consciousness disappears. What does one have to lose by dying? First there is consciousness, and then the body is sensed. One who knows consciousness is called a jnani. Your consciousness is the seed of the universe. To be without words is to be in samadhi. You will not meet the Parabrahman through intellect. What did you have before you were taught anything? Only wakefulness and sleep. The rest, all concepts, is based upon what you have heard. Even the pride, I am the seeker of truth, I shall renounce, etc., has to go. One who manages worldly activities is of universal nature. The only purpose of the human body is to realize Brahman. That is the reason why all idols we worship have a human form. The Word and the existence of the Word can be sensed only through the human body. Word means Brahman, the manifest principle. Existence means consciousness, and therefore Brahman is sensed through the human body. But due to body consciousness, a man remains a man. If I is taken aside from the body, it contains pure Brahman only. Brahman is consciousness and vice versa. The irony is that the ego that takes the body as itself is trying to know it. Body consciousness has to be dismissed. Nothing else has to be done. Does your body know your consciousness? The body is a material object. Without prana, it is a corpse. Consciousness in the Brahmaranda knows pleasure and pain. Who is aware of consciousness? When this is clearly understood, the pleasure and the pain will go and there will be peace. In the body there is nothing else but pure Brahman. The one who knows consciousness, the feeling I am, is the knower. The knower cannot be described. Consciousness in the body is itself God. It naturally knows Brahman. It has the form of space, water, fire, luster, air, and earth. Yet it is consciousness only. It is our consciousness that is acting through the 5 elements. It has no identification as a man or a woman. The purpose of the body is to know Brahman. The mistake is that the same Brahman identifies itself with the body. It cannot know itself without the human body. However, it has accepted itself as body consciousness. The 5 characteristics of the body are based upon word hearing, form seeing, touch, taste, and smell. The vibration of Brahman in your body senses them. Therefore, the human body has great importance. Do not waste a single moment without paying attention to your true nature. The awakened consciousness is the image of Paramatman. It is easy for the one who recognizes it as God and becomes one with it. Catch hold of that truth. Continuously remember that consciousness is your true nature, the manifest Brahman. It has been praised with 1,000,000 names. When consciousness sprouted, it took the form of a child. What do you possess except for consciousness? It is the light. Always remember that this is your true nature. One who has this knowledge is Paramatman. It is the evidence that he is. If you understand this, there is no need for austerities. Identification with the body is the cause of turmoil. When there is no experience of a single word, while awake, it is your true nature. Your consciousness is the golden womb through which the world has been created. Through conception, the unmanifest becomes manifest. Your everyday life, wife, children, are nothing but entertainment. The various spiritual methods are also entertainment. Can anyone feel that his body is sacred? If you do not feel sacred about yourself, then how can others feel it? When you are convinced that you are pure Am-Ness, people will come to have your holy sight. When you become convinced by the Guru word that you are pure Brahman, pure consciousness, you will feel that your body has become sacred. When you get realization, people will naturally want to have your darshan. One who is the soul of death itself, how can he die? The greatest negation of religion, the greatest sin, is to believe that the body is your true nature. Your religion is to remain as the self. You must have the conviction of your true identity. You must recognize your relationship with your own self. The mind gets modified and behavior changes with repetition of the mantra. The body serves as the food for this consciousness. The mind flows from Prana, the vital force. When you realize all this, at the last moment you will clearly witness that you do not die, but Prana leaves the body. The enlightened person has no hopes, no desires, and no passions. Therefore he has no death. It is the most indescribable event when the manifest becomes unmanifest at the time of so-called death. But the ignorant one says, I am dying, even before Prana leaves the body. This is because he has not known his true nature. The time of death of a sage is very sacred. It is more sacred than sunrise. This is the reason why their death anniversary is celebrated. Decide now who you are going to die as. The thought at the time of dying will decide the future. There should be no other thought except, I am perfect bliss. Your state will be in accordance with what you take yourself to be. This is true now, and it will be true then. Nirvikalpa 47, Sunday, July 30th, 1978. From birth to death, all actions are performed in order to pass the time. The greatest good in life is to know who you are. It is impossible to establish order in the world. Meanwhile, those who teach and those who learn all pass away. Religion is formed by the concept of its followers, nothing else. Our consciousness is the base for all worldly dealings. However, there is no base for consciousness. It has come uninvited. It rises and then passes away. There was no memory of I am before, and now it is there. Except for this, what do you possess as your own? One who has realized himself has no concern about his well-being. Wakefulness, sleep, and hunger have no substitute. No law applies to them. Without these, nobody would do anything. Realize men are silent in spite of the knowledge they have. They know the secret of birth and why it has arrived. How was this consciousness imposed on you, and since when? This must be understood. To get into samadhi means to let go of the mind with its memory. Your breathing is proof of the existence of the breathless one. The word comes upon waking up. Therefore you are prior to the word. The wordless meaning of our consciousness is the sense, I am. If you remain completely silent, you experience the self. There is only one self for all. Prana works also in sleep. It has no meaning then, as it has no knowledge of its vibration. Waking up is to feel I am, without pronouncing the words. The 3 Gunas are the names given to 3 types of behavior. They function in all living beings. We should not judge anyone's behavior. One who understands gunas will understand this. People with Rajoguna and Tamoguna will meddle with others' affairs instead of working on themselves. The bodies may be different, but consciousness is the same in all. It is formless. You might say that it has a flavor, a quality, which is love. The knowledge I am loves itself, and hence we can distinguish between good and bad. One who understands its greatness finds it all-pervading. Such a person does not criticize others. All things are being done for the sake of the love of the self. One who has devotion to all beings as if they are God cannot hate anyone. He sees clearly that he is not the doer. Hold on to the fact that you are Brahman. First you know that you are, and then the words follow. Whose information is this? It is the information of the one who feels he is. Consciousness is knowingness, a sense of being. All the activity of Purusha, Supreme Self, and Prakriti, creation, is based upon this. One who reaches this stage keeps quiet. He knows that in its absence there is no happiness or sorrow. Can you recede back to this stage? So as to know who you are, understand consciousness with determination. What is more important than consciousness in the whole world? When you reach that point, you will not utter a single word about others. Without consciousness there is no word. Pay attention to consciousness and nothing else. The one who does not recognize this has to suffer many miseries. The world is a fun game created out of one's own existence. No one can stop the process of creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the world. This is because there is no creator. With a slight illumination of consciousness, the universe with its infinite space is created. It is the wonder of the subtle consciousness. What came first, the body of the world or our body? Your true nature is formless, yet it identifies with the body. In the same way, the world looks real through the senses. Who is prior, the world or the one who sees the world? Your wakefulness is the same as the world. First comes consciousness, and then the world is seen in it. Consciousness is unstable. It likes to be. However, when Am-Ness goes, so does the world. You have to see this with a very subtle inner discrimination. This vast panoramic world is the reflection of your consciousness. As such, it is nameless. Yet name gives it support, and transactions are made possible. All names are concepts. When Para Brahman remains in the unmanifest state, can he have a name? Krishna says he is all-pervading. Because of the sense of duality, people differentiate. They either praise or censure. The concept, I am like this, is the basic reason of misery or happiness. If you stay with the feeling I am, the basic vibration of I am, you will digest miseries as easily as happiness. Whatever is visible, whatever appears, has not happened at all. Do not indulge in flattery or censure, even if it cost you your life, as there is no other. Unless the sense I am like this goes, the duality will not go. You must understand the ultimate meaning of yourself, by yourself. Then nothing can harm you. 1 in a million tries to know it. One who realizes it, his consciousness merges peacefully within his own self. Consciousness disappears into the knower. That is called Brahman. You know what you are before you know anything else. Convince yourself that you are pure consciousness. All worldly dealings will be carried out spontaneously. It is the only way. The notion that you do something is utterly false. Nirvikalpa 48, Thursday, August 3rd, 1978. The unmanifest is motionless. Where can it be? Deliberate on this point. With a slight stirring of the unmanifest, a little Maya is created. If there was no sense of selfhood, one would be beyond Maya. You are eternally unmanifest by nature. Consciousness implies an individual, and the knower of consciousness is the unmanifest. When suddenly you know that you are, it fascinates you. It is the same as love. Your consciousness has been created through ignorance. This is the primordial Maya. The vital force permeates every cell of the body. The center of knowingness in the body is the cerebral cortex. Without consciousness, it has no knowing faculty. Do not ever say you are the body. You are only the knowingness, your consciousness. It is like light. It is the sense I am. It paints all the pictures. Worship it as the Guru, infinite and boundless. You expect the fruits of the actions of the Three Gunas because you think you are the body. Doership depends upon the presence of God, so he is called the doer. The consciousness in us is God. Every living being wishes to be immortal. That is the greatest desire. The flame which is lit up inside with the body as oil is called the universal flame. The sense I am caught fire and became visible as the world. At the base of consciousness is the unmanifest, the Supreme Self. People think that the world is old. Actually, the world rises with your consciousness. This is called Maya. There is nothing there, and yet it plays so much havoc. As the memory of I am changes, everything changes. If the memory of I am vanishes, then what? Does anyone have a memory of his death? So what happens? The memory of I am forgets itself, that is all. What is your state when you do not know that you are? There is no delusion such as I am or I am not. Such a state is called Brahmana. Memory or ego sense is time-bound. It is of the nature of time. When this is understood, an ordinary person becomes a jnani. One says, I did this, I behaved that way. When memory goes, what happens to action and behavior? All the names are given to the word by the word. The source of the word has no form. While awake, when there is no self-memory, one is in a state of the absolute. All titles are acquired. they are not natural. If you take a single sentence from this and put it to use, it is enough. An iota of truth. In order to acquire such knowledge, you have to practice devotion. The infinite universe exists because of consciousness. Nirvikalpa 54, Wednesday, August 23, 1978. All emotional states eventually come to pass. They are transient. Childhood automatically goes away. Does anyone feel bad about it? In the same way, you will also pass away, and God will pass away. Nothing will remain. When you ripen with the mantra that has been given to you, spiritual knowledge will start expressing itself. Such is its power. You will do nothing. The realization will talk through you. The power of the mantra will increase, and it will be understood that the guru state is within you. People have devotion, they love the guru, but they have no inclination for self-realization. Devotion to God is there, but a strong desire for knowing the truth is not there. An individual thinks he is a small entity in the world. The fact is that the experience of the world is dependent on us. However, we cannot be an object of senses, as by nature we cannot be known by the senses. Our true nature is unmanifest. The first experience one gets is that of God. I am. In the manifest world, when we search for ourselves, we find God, because God is using our body and our name. After discovering God, the eternal is discovered. You are eternal. Do not say you are the body. Consciousness lasts for a duration. It is called the tenure of life. Go back to the state when you had no experience of anything. People are devoted to God, but to find one in search of true self-knowledge is rare. God, seed consciousness, is the center point. He spontaneously takes the form of the universe. With body consciousness, we will not be able to discover that we are eternal. What is the use of making the mind blank? In deep sleep or while intoxicated, the mind is blank. Who is the knower of this? Samadhi brings in various miracles. The experience of the awakening of Kundalini is like that also. That will not give you the experience of truth. Love, joy, gain, loss are all one, and that is consciousness. As you go further, you will understand how the concept of beingness arises and where it goes. This gives rise to Nirvikalpa Samadhi, one without any concepts. The sense whether we are or we are not is not there. The rest of the Samadhis are Salvikalpa with concept. In Nirvikalpa Samadhi, there is no witnessing. From now on, do not consider yourself a human being. You are immortal, eternal, and perfect Para-Brahman. This understanding does not come from outside. It is known because it is. It is our nature. It cannot be made new, it cannot be invited, and you need not go to meet it. Remain as you are, in the natural state of being. Do not imitate the Guru. Catch hold of his true nature. You should not act through intellect, but act through natural instinct. Nirvikalpa 55, Thursday, August 24th, 1978. Religions are created by and followed by human beings. How is one prior to the accusation that he is a Hindu or a Muslim? We are all bound by traditions in the world. They do not last, just as flowers do not last. In the village where Muslims live, is the land Muslim? The elements, e.g. fire, air, space, and water, have no false pride of belonging to a creed. Consciousness is the essence of the 5 elements. We call it the sun. The sun means the light of our own beingness. In that light there are an infinite number of images in time and of infinite worlds. I hope you do not have any pride of the body. Why not look at the source? One did not have the memory of his consciousness. It has come now. How long has it been since you got this memory? As many years as your present age is. This memory is Maya. It is delusion, the mother of ignorance. It is said that we are eternal and infinite. It is said through the consciousness. How can this be true if consciousness itself is unreal? Would this question arise if there were no consciousness? Life tenure means that there is consciousness and memory for that period. Whatever is said and whoever says it is quite right, but only at that time. Your sense I am is a precious jewel. If you hold on to something in your meditation, it will manifest through your consciousness. If you meditate on Krishna, it will manifest in the form of Krishna. However, all that is transient. When someone says that he has become a perfect jnani, how could it be when the knowledge itself is imperfect? Will Vishnu come here and ask me what I have been prattling about? He will not. He may have been here at one time, but he is not here now. When Brahman is dismissed through right discrimination, it is called Para-Brahman. Space is everywhere. It does not go from place to place. Space, prana, and luster are everywhere. Only human beings identify themselves as bodies and behave in various ways. The knower must be identified no matter what it takes. This may happen in a moment or not even in a lifetime. You are the consciousness in which all kinds of knowledge are consolidated. It is not necessary to go all over the world in order to recognize the self. Your consciousness has no form. It is neither small nor big. It is as good as nothing. What is the reason? It is because so long as you know that you are, it exists. You have the need for the self, but it is prior to the need. If you recognize it, you will understand that all needs have their source in consciousness, and they all merge into the same. It has no beginning. It is atomic. If you go to look for it in the world, it will not be found because it is the one through whom you know you are. It is the Lord through whom you see the world. It is the knowledge that you are, without saying it. As consciousness, it is also the Lord of the qualities. All names, male and female, belong to it. The Atman and the Paramatman are names given through words for the sake of understanding. Till such time that this knowledge is consciously known, we need ourselves. Consciousness is there as long as one exists. He is the witness of consciousness without the act of witnessing. Your awareness itself is the 8-handed goddess Mahakali, the great divine mother. If you are convinced that you are immortal, imperishable, and indestructible, she is pleased. If she is pleased, she will fulfill your needs. If you call her mortal, she will be displeased. She provides when the devotee becomes one with the consciousness I am. There is not a single living being that does not worship Atman. The insects also worship him as they look after themselves. All human bodies are temples of God. Unless there is duality, there cannot be identification, e.g. Brahman and Maya, God and devotee. At first it has to be divided like that and then united. When you recognize yourself, you will know that there is no being on earth to whom you are not of any use. God is omnipresent. He has pervaded everything everywhere. This is the view of your own consciousness. If you understand this, not even a trace of selfishness will remain in you. Whatever you do will be worship of the inner self only. In order to realize, you have to meditate on consciousness through which you know you are. Call it the Guru. Hold its feet tightly. From it you are getting the experience of the physical body and the world. It is your own nature. Remember it well. Worship it constantly by remembering it. It is the image of your true nature. Remember that, and no concept will trouble you. Nirvikalpa 56, Sunday, August 27th, 1978. Brahman conveys his own knowledge to Brahman, the manifestation as I am. He is there from where the sound emanates. The word is the assurance of Brahman, consciousness. It is the life force. Your sense I am is the same as Brahman. The act of seeing is empty, yet the very sight of the seer is the creation. False identification with the body is the reason for all joys and sorrows. Remember that you are the offspring of your Guru. Therefore his word is your authority. What is his dictum? It is whatever is that you are. There is nothing else. There is no other method for the aspirant. Without faith in the Guru word, people grope for other methods. When prana leaves the body, what happens to the self? It pervades everywhere. Its symbol is space. You are that. Space is purer than the four grosser elements. Your consciousness is purer than space. When a jnani leaves the body, he experiences bliss. When you realize the self, you will know that there is bliss at the time of death. It will be the experience of one who knows that whatever is created is Brahman, the consciousness. There is no other except you. Even though a jnani may worship the qualitative Brahman, he has no delusion. The impressions stamped in the body from childhood are flowing through prana. This is called mind flow. Can you put a stain on space? Then how would the light permeating space be? Your knowingness is the light of the self. The purpose of your spiritual activity as a seeker is to know who you are. Your association with all other information will vanish. Wake up and be aware to this very moment. Worship the self, the king of knowledge. He resides in the body. To follow the word of the Satguru is the most worthy effort. He is beyond the five elements. Before you fall asleep, remind yourself that you are not the body. Slowly the Guru word will bring joy. As it eradicates harmful things, it also removes the obstacles to your spiritual growth. The belief that you are the body is the obstacle. The Satguru's message is, I am all. With implicit faith in the Satguru, one becomes perfect Brahman. Nirvikalpa 57, Thursday, August 31st, 1978. I know that I am, and hence I know that the world is. Both happen spontaneously. The world comes into existence along with my birth. Our true nature is the self. It appears to me as I am, and the world follows. This will be understood when you know with certainty that the body is not your true nature. Out of 1,000,000, a rare one will say, "The world is because I am." All others will say that the world existed previously. I came into it. I am the world, and the world is I. This information pertains to the manifested consciousness. When there is the Word, there is a guarantee of beingness. When the Word permeates all around, it becomes of the nature of space. Our talk is stored in space. The quality of knowingness which is within is called Chidikash. The light of the space of consciousness has blazed into such a dazzling conflagration that it is called the Great Space, Maha Akash. The space of consciousness is subtler than the subtlest. What happens in the Chidikash is absorbed and its pictures are taken immediately. These are the impressions you store. Unless you know your eternal nature, it will go on the same way. The wish that one's consciousness should last forever is the root Maya. It is the source of devotion and love. That is called Chidikash. The universe is created in that. The original nature of it is not to be, not to exist. If you know this well, will there be any loss if the visible comes to an end? Will there be any grieving if someone dies? Instead of saying, "I am that," say, "I am always and forever." Many people learn from the Guru and stop there. Nobody pays attention to the fact that I am is different from the teacher and the taught. Even if you take to heart the fact that I am is the cause of what has to be learned, and it is also the instrument for learning it, it is enough. Then you are already redeemed. Before learning something, your natural state of being is in perfect condition. If you limit yourself to the one who has learned when instructed, how will you get out of it? It will be an endless process. Krishna said, "The ignorant jiva does not understand what is eternal and free. Therefore, I had to take this body." Witnessing the last moment of death is a festival of happiness. Time comes to an end, but not I. I have no rising nor setting. Carry on with your worldly duties. However, keep to your true nature. In your spiritual endeavors, you claim, "I let go of this, I renounce this," etc. How are you going to renounce that which was never there? Consciousness is the root Maya, the goddess of knowledge. The jnani is the witness. He is not consciousness. The time of death is the end of time. You are the witness of this. Then have you ended there? We feel the existence of body and prana, but the body and prana do not know us. You should reason until you come to this definite analysis. As the salt crystal melts, prana becomes fainter and fainter at the time of leaving the body. The bliss of the knower goes on increasing in the same proportion. This is the moment of great happiness. The end of time means the end of prana. The fact that you are listening is the result of the chemical consciousness. Teaching is imparted to this body consciousness. When consciousness goes, the teaching fades away. You are beyond this. Who is learning? Is it not the body consciousness? All dealings are done by time. Think of how you are different from what you were before this learning. Those who call themselves enlightened are wrapped up in concepts of their choice. They have not gone beyond concepts. Why do you enjoy finding fault with others? Is it not a better way to feel good? Such is the characteristic of the jiva. Saint Tukaram used to call common people as saints. Do you see saintliness in every human being? There is 1 in 1,000 who really profits by what is heard here. What is recognized as a mold or a pattern is not the self. The self cannot be known. The body is an instrument. The one on whose strength the senses work is called God. He is not the Supreme Self. God, Brahman, is the manifest principle. Paramatman, the Supreme Self, is unmanifest. Prana is also not the self. Prana carries out all actions. Mind, intellect, and consciousness are forms of prana. The one who has realized the self, following the Guru's word, experiences total bliss at the time of physical death. Keep to the state that you had before you were taught anything. Does anyone pay attention to how this occasion for learning and teaching has occurred? We are not what we recognize or are taught. You cannot contemplate on the Atman. What is known to us is not our true nature. The self cannot be contemplated upon. That which is not known through the senses must be you. You cannot be understood or recognized. One who understands is not the object of knowledge. The fear is due to ignorance in thinking of a rope being a snake. Nothing is to be done. Contemplate on what you have heard. Ruminate over it with determination. Nirupana 58, Sunday, September 3rd, 1978. Why do they call a devotee a devotee? It is because he cares for God. He contemplates on God. The rest are anxious about their households. All are concerned about what happens in their practical dealings. A rare one has a true desire about knowing God. For one who gets the supreme knowledge, there is no other thought except God. Then God has to bear the responsibility for the devotee's worldly needs. Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva cannot stay eternally in their present forms. Therefore they are illusory. The experience that is known through the senses is illusory. The one who knows this is eternal. The Guru illuminates one's true nature. One who considers the body as his true nature cannot do this. What is the instrument for devotion or worship? It is consciousness that is present in the body. It has to be called God or Guru and honored. Consciousness is Brahman. Meditating on it is all that needs to be done. No other ritual is required. Contemplate and meditate on the Guru. There is no other God. This is non-dualistic worship. In this kind of devotion, God, who is qualitative or non-qualitative, with all his names, is of the nature of the devotee. Where there is God, there is devotee. Where there is devotee, there is God. There is no duality. Unless you accept this and merge into it, you will not understand. Unless a man jumps into the water, he cannot swim. Devotion fills one with the nature of God. Actually, both natures are one and the same. When there is no consciousness, who is to say it is or it is not? How many serious seekers are there who will utilize this transient life to search for God? Meditate on the one who notices the transient and phenomenal world. When the devotee has become of the nature of God, he surrenders to Him. God takes care of him. His needs are provided. Who nourishes the fetus? Who generates milk in the mother's breast? When the teeth appear, will the food not be provided? This is the kind of faith needed in the true devotee. He lives with unshakable conviction. It is a pure position like that of a child. Will such a devotee ever beg for fulfilling wishes? He peacefully says, I am that. He is blessed with the experience of a child. He has no fear. How can he ever worry? When things become unbearable, repeat the word Guru, Guru. He will show you both the form and the formless nature. By devotion to the Guru, God becomes eager to manifest Himself. Even after listening to all this, if one does not worship God, what can be done? Your consciousness is the image of God. With devotion, it becomes the infinite Brahman. Nirvikalpa 59, Sunday, September 10th, 1978. Various incense sticks give out different fragrances. Similarly, the body contains different ingredients. A person's behavior is the result of the three gunas. These are sattva, knowingness, rajas, motivity, and tamas, consolidation and inertia. Behavior gives rise to good or bad results. That is called destiny. You know that you are. Contemplate on it. Do not meditate on any object. Penance is a sort of meditation. The jnani's destiny is the whole universe. You will know this through meditation. Once you know consciousness, you will never identify with the body again. I know that I have a body, but the body is not I. One remembers his childhood, but will he become a child again? Only the memory is there. Similarly, after realization, you will know that you are not the body, even while the body is still there. You will be beyond beingness. The concept I am has been created due to God. I know that God will eventually leave the body. That implies that I existed prior to the body. God means Prana. This is opposite to what people who identify with the body think. They think God existed prior to them. They come later. Pure consciousness is called God. How can God kill me? He only departs from the body. Maharaj says that the consciousness in the body is God, Ishvara, the manifest Brahman. It is the same as Prana, the life force. However, I, as the Absolute, Para-Brahman, am beyond it. When one realizes that one is liberated, no worldly dealings are left for him. This is the true situation. Those who got liberated but did not continue with devotion to the Guru were not useful to common people. They are not known to common people. Those who continued devotional practices after liberation, their presence is always there even if they no longer physically exist. After self-realization, when the body consciousness is gone, one does not require anything else for comfort. He becomes a nobody, and by being that he becomes extinct. There is no use of the Guru unless there is complete faith and devotion. Are seekers who go to the Himalayas and find salvation of any use to other people? Many a great king has come and gone. People do not remember him any longer. Those who practice devotion to the Guru benefited the people, and people are devoted to such sages even now. There is no greater charity than offering of self-knowledge. One who receives it becomes like the one who gives it. This is not true for other worldly gifts. There should be devotion towards the one who gives knowledge. Even if the guru is worshipped in stone or clay, it bears fruit. Never let go of devotion to the guru. His creed will manifest through us. Such is the greatest of devotion, to the guru. Those who were devoted to liberation became immortal in the minds of the people. One should never forget to worship the guru. Consciousness. Obligations to the one who gives self-knowledge can never be paid off. One can only offer continued worship and share his teaching with others. Where there are no instruments, do mental worship and sing devotional songs. Why is Guru Bhajan performed? It is for the uplifting of the world. By doing this, one becomes as worthy as the Guru. After realization, the teaching process should continue for the benefit of others. God is the same as self-knowledge. Do not use other concepts. Never let go of devotion to the Guru. Nirupana 60, Thursday, September 14th, 1978. Your previous identity will go and you will speak with a new identity, but without taking yourself as so-and-so. You will know nothing about the new identity as it will talk spontaneously. Here is a beautiful flower. Who is responsible for its growth? As it has life force, it has movement. That which exists beautifully and tenderly in the flower also speaks through this body. In the case of the flower, it does not speak, but it shows. It is. It is both manifest and unmanifest, and it pervades everywhere. There is a minute sample of the infinite life force within you. You will merge into that. You will not be able to see it. Merging does not mean dying. The mind is occupied by thoughts based upon its predominant concept. Each being identifies itself with the physical body. A rare human being, 1 in a million, identifies himself with God. Prana derives its support from food, and all speak through the power of prana. Consciousness arises where prana and the essence of food are joined together. It is the source of the inspiration. I am Brahman. Atman, or I, has no form. The tree grows tall because of the power of prana. Without the combination of food and prana, there is no consciousness. I am neither food nor prana. I am there only when they are united. People talk about God and Brahman, the manifest principle. I do not. I talk about my own realization. This knowledge comes from the meeting place of the world and that which is beyond the world. It is the meeting place of the manifest and the unmanifest. This must be thought through carefully. Those who feel they have not understood anything. It cannot be conceptualized. Thoughts come to your mind uncalled for. They come and go. Somewhere, a person dies. Another gather. People gather. What thoughts prevail in people's minds? The silence of the man who is dead has entered the minds of those present. When performing any action through the body form, the sense of doership is ignorance. You behave according to the image you have of yourself. It is not true. Consciousness lasts for a certain period. It is called the tenure of life, also known as time. Eventually all this will disappear. Consciousness in the body is the experience of I am. This experience does not belong to the body. It belongs only to the knowing faculty. The body does not experience anything. Consciousness in the body is your true nature. It has no form. A person identifies with his body and goes about. Nothing really happens. This will be understood if you remain in the company of consciousness. In good company, satsang, bad thoughts are replaced by good thoughts. The jiva becomes pure by realizing its true nature. Till then, the dirt in the form of the body is its only domain. In good company, impure thoughts get destroyed just as the sun cleanses the world. Bhagavan means the luminous one. It is the consciousness that makes us feel we are. Where there is devotion, there is consciousness. Where there is consciousness, there is devotion. Does the body have love for itself, or is it consciousness in the body that has love for itself? Love means devotion, and devotion means consciousness. And the same as God. When ignorance is destroyed and consciousness is freed, the devotee becomes God. One must contemplate on what one has heard. One who loves the Guru loves himself. Remember what you have heard. The Guru keeps repeating so many things, but do they stay with you? Consciousness in the body is the image of God. If consciousness is not sensed in the morning, you will not be able to carry out any actions. The sense you are, that you get when you wake up, is the holy sight of God. Consciousness was tiny when it woke up, but how far has its light spread? It takes account of all things real and unreal. If you welcome this consciousness, you will know that you are infinite. It is the Guru. It is your true nature. Worship consciousness that is prior to everything. Put your faith in it. Until then, you will be dissatisfied and unhappy. Have the conviction that you are God. Do not prattle about it to others. It is not necessary to announce your awakening. People will know that you have attained self-knowledge. Panna 61, Sunday, September 17, 1978. Manifestation implies consciousness. It has no form. Mind has no form. When there is no body, there is no form. Presently you are pure consciousness in the body. It is the sense of your own beingness. It is subtler than space. Even in the case of great incarnations, there was no sensation of I am prior to the incarnation. Brahman, in his true state, has no knowledge of his beingness. Sri Rama was Brahman, yet his Guru had to impart self-knowledge to him. What does it mean when someone claims to have chosen his parents, claiming himself to be an incarnation? What evidence do they give? Such people are ignorant. When there is no body, there is no knowledge. The word implies prana, the vital force. The food for prana is the body, and consciousness is the knowingness. It is the assurance of our existence. It is Brahman. It is the Word. It is the vibration of manifestation. One who punishes and the one who suffers from punishment have the same consciousness. One who punishes is the same as the one who undergoes punishment. To say this openly, it is necessary to be convinced of one's true nature. The root of sorrow is the very company of prana. It is difficult to bear your sense of I am. Your existence, the presence of God itself, is sorrow. All worldly activities are undertaken to bear this sorrow. If there is a disturbance in the body, have the courage to say, God, consciousness, now go away. It is only after birth that some become engineers, scientists, or doctors, and similarly, some become sadhus, jnanis, and yogis. However, what happens if there is no birth at all? What is called birth is filled with an infinite number of universes. You can meditate on anything and it will manifest before you. In whom is the dream world created? Is it not in you? You are not yet free of the concept that you will get great good in the body form. The vital force in the body is consciousness, the Atman. The pure nature of Sri Krishna is the same as your own nature. The one that makes the body move cannot be perceived. You must listen without the body sense. The real nature of the listener is of the nature of the self. It is your true nature. Use your consciousness for worship. Rituals are for the satisfaction of the mind. There is no experience of the mind in the worship of the self. Much is seen with the eyes open. However, with the eyes closed, what is seen is the place where all the yogis have gone. Perfect sight is the one without seeing. So long as you wish to get success in life for comfort of the body, nothing can be accomplished. All seekers have ultimately merged into the life force. The movement of the life force is given names such as Brahman. One particle of consciousness is also the ocean of consciousness. The state of the self has no duality. My speaking and your listening do not imply two gods. It means I am speaking to myself. God does not have to enjoy the fruits of virtue or suffer from the results of sin. One who does not treat himself as God has to experience the same. Till such time as your consciousness is properly satisfied, it must be worship with the mind and then with no mind. Worship with no mind means to remain thoughtless as pure consciousness. How does the Guru offer his grace? When he talks about his experience, know that it is your own. This should be understood with the fullest conviction. Repeated contemplation is like churning. It creates a poison along with the nectar of knowledge. The poison is the ego. It has to be swallowed up by right thinking. One who is unsure about direct knowledge should practice devotion. It is the purpose of life. It is also the remembrance of the Guru word. Keep repeating that you have neither birth nor death, neither sin nor virtue. You are not the body. You are eternal. Do mental worship. Wherever the mind goes, the Satguru is there. Have faith in his word. Nirupana 62, Thursday, September 21st, 1978. People practice devotion with bodily identification and therefore they do not reach the Paramatman state. When you continue to listen, by virtue of your devotion, you will go beyond no-thingness. You cannot even carry out worldly dealings well by identifying with the body, let alone making spiritual efforts. The body moves because of prana, which depends upon food. You are not the body. You are in the body. With body consciousness, your well-being, your hopes, desires, and expectations are seldom fulfilled. What you continuously meditate on, its vision must come to you. By pleasing that deity, you acquire the same status. However, you do not get the truth. Anything you contemplate on can result in visions. This is the result of excessive love or fear. What is the source of these visions? Is it not consciousness? If you live with the conviction that you are the life force in the body, the universe will manifest itself to you through the tiny vital force, just as a big tree grows from a seed. A rare one worships the consciousness with consciousness. Most worship with bodily identification. With that stance, one does not go beyond the 5 elements. Due to consciousness in the body, the world is sensed. It is the result of the life force. Consciousness is the guru. One must live with that conviction. Mere listening will not create that in you. All the impressions received from birth are flowing through prana. They constitute the mind. Prana, mind, intellect, and intuition are formless. Does the Atman, who is the knower of all this, have a shape? Identification with the body is ignorance, illusion, and delusion. Consciousness knows the body, outer and inner mind, sleep, wakefulness, etc. Can consciousness be identified with a person? It is naturally there in a human body. Animals do not have this understanding. It has no form. It is the self-luminous God. Carry out all your activities while keeping this in mind. If you have contact with pure consciousness even for a moment, you are liberated. Actions through the 4 elements, earth, water, fire, wind, do not affect the 5th, i.e., space. How can it defile the light of space? I am pure consciousness, pure life force. I have no shape, no form. Therefore, I have no birth, no death, and no karma. The impurity of the karma cannot defile the formless, changeless self that is the life force, the consciousness. If you try to put a stain in space, it will only stain your finger. You should worship the word of sages. People go through life with the name given by their parents. Actually, is there a connection between you and that name? Can the knower of the name be identified with the name? Who is the one whom you call Brahman or the Guru, because of whom you wake up in the morning? Before waking up, you were neither a man nor a woman. Had you not awakened, you would not have remembered. To say, I am a man or I am a woman is to identify oneself as a body form. The knower of this body form is silent. It is consciousness. All your actions in the world will not fulfill your expectations. Your consciousness is riding on your prana. It goes. When prana goes, the Atman does not go because he never came. Are you prana? What are you when prana leaves the body? To understand that, you have to make the Guru word your own. You are the formless Atman. You have no form. It is a simple thing, but if not observed, it becomes troublesome. Otherwise, you will have to undergo birth and death according to your concept. Get a clear idea of Atman beyond words and categories. Do not leave the feet of consciousness that is listening now. You cannot hold these feet with your hands. They are to be held with the conviction of your own nature by saying, I am the Self. One who drinks the holy water of the Satguru's feet, his body and self are purified. He does not need to visit holy places. Wherever he goes, it becomes a holy place. Do not forget the Atman. Repeat his name silently. With devotion to the Guru, birth and death vanish. It is difficult to get this knowledge, but once you have it, everything is possible. All happenings are transient. They do not bind Atman. Keep firmly in your mind that consciousness in the body is your true nature. When prana goes, does the body have any pain? It could be used as food. Bliss is the fire of that knowledge. Fire does not burn itself. It burns the wood. Similarly, the Atman does not come and go. By sticking to the Guru's word, the perverse intellect will stop its mischief. Nirupana 63, Sunday, September 24th, 1978. I, Am-Ness, is a dream. When we sense we are, space gets created along with the world. You say the world is much older than we are. However, it is not older than our consciousness. Meditate on your own consciousness. Be aware of that. Remember that the memory of your beingness has come to you suddenly, without asking. To meditate on that means to be one with that. To dwell on thoughts of your well-being is a misconception. To think that you are awakened is also a misconception. All these concepts are present only when you are. The experience of God comes in a state of sickness. The picturesque world has appeared in a state of sickness. It will not last. There is no truth in it. Only you are true when you recognize the state of sickness. One who is aware of this truth is perfect. One who understands this naked truth goes beyond the known. The last word of the scriptures is silent. Then there is no awareness of whether I am or I am not. Maharaj says that the manifest principle I am is a sickness. The unmanifest, without qualities, is beyond it. When water evaporates or when fires extinguish, does it mean that it is dead? Whatever is visible has disappeared. Can it have any truth? Drop all insane concepts and just be quiet. When you are convinced that you have gone beyond the need of your consciousness, you need not come here. There is neither creation nor dissolution without the Satguru. One who knows this reaches the same state. The Guru word is our true nature. This japa is to be repeated without words. The word of the Satguru is your true identity. What remains after everything is extinguished. Is it your true nature? Those who worship the Satguru as a human being are doing so for worldly achievements. It is not devotion for knowledge. The 5 elements and the rest, i.e., name, form, etc., will disappear. What remains has no sense of duality, such as this is my Satguru and this is I. There is no other support for the manifestation and dissolution of the world except for the Satguru. That which is prior to the word has no identity. It neither is nor is not. Your consciousness is the light of the Guru, the holy feet of Sri Guru. It is your true nature. Even if you are a beggar, remember well that the Guru word and you are the same. The eye see, but the true seer is the Satguru within. It is consciousness. It is the perfect self. The body is subject to death. The one who knows the body, is he known by the body and prana? Consciousness that illuminates is the knower. It is the perfect Brahman, the perfect bliss, the love devotion, and your true nature. Do service to this consciousness, but do not take it to be the body. Do not neglect the body either. It contains pure consciousness, the Satguru. It is self-love. It is the nectar of the holy feet of the Satguru. One's true nature, the uninterrupted bliss, has to be discovered. Obeisance to the Satguru is the same as the obeisance to our consciousness. Is it not so? That by which you feel you are is the same through which the world with its 5 elements and the living beings is created. The holy feet of the Satguru are the same as your consciousness. It is the same as the sensation you have that you are. You must realize their pure movement. Then whatever appears to you will be pure and sanctified. To remove ignorance, catch hold of the holy feet of the Satguru without duality. Remain in your natural state without doing anything. Worship that which is in the body and that which gives you the satisfaction of your beingness. Due to your devotion, the world gets uplifted. Why do people suffer all kinds of miseries? Is it not for the sake of consciousness? Is it not the one that is dearest to us? Whatever you do is because of the love for consciousness. It comes to the Paramatman with great difficulty. It takes ages before he senses that he is. Do not forego this opportunity as a human being. Do not leave the feet of the Satguru. It is rare to find a jnani who is eager for the experience of the ending of time. Nirvikalpa 64, Sunday, October 8th, 1978. To be aware of our beingness is meditation. We have understood what we are. Keep that in mind. Unless the intellect understands it, the heart will not accept it. Always be aware that you are not the body. You have no form. Do you know how you were before acquiring the body? This knowledge is conveyed to you to remove body consciousness. Your body is not the form of the self. To think that the body is one's form is ego. One who understands this becomes Brahman. The Guru mantra should be continuously repeated at all times. With practice, even poison can be digested. Try to form the habit of sitting down in meditation. Increase it by a minute every day. There is nothing impossible in the world if you are determined. The world phenomenon is made of our own vital force. Nothing is impossible for it. Rituals continue so long as you do not know who you are. It is easy to be someone different, but to be of the nature of Paramatman is very difficult. It is ignorance to think that you are a human being subject to karmic laws. Consciousness is covered by the body. It is so because of ignorance. It is that by which we know we are. Since you are not the form of the body, it is a delusion to think that you will die. Our true nature is one who knows consciousness in the body. We are the knower of consciousness without words. Many actions take place after acquiring worldly knowledge, yet that is not the knowledge of one's own nature. One should understand that our true nature is without activities, beyond birth and death. That which knows consciousness is changeless. What we know through our consciousness is not our true nature. It keeps changing. What is known without knowing never changes. That which is true is eternal. That which is eternal is the truth. Consciousness is God. Consciousness, world, and God are time-bound and hence temporary. It can be said that God is of the nature of the universe. However, what is seen or felt will come to an end some day. Your true nature is neither seen nor felt. Hence, it is not time-bound. A rare one, out of millions, may know this. Consciousness that has taken itself as the body is ignorance. The knower of this is eternal. It has no tenure of life. It is pure non-duality. After having heard this, see where you stand. Your true nature has no experience of wakefulness or sleep. In the beginning, you have to realize that you are consciousness. In the end, you are not that either. Our talk is material knowledge. The characteristic of the material, food essence, is consciousness. The effect of the food essence is beingness. The body is an object. You are not that. One who is purified is God. The jiva is the essence of food. The realization, I am not the body, is the end of objective knowledge, i.e., I am like this, etc. What is important is the discrimination between eternal and transitory. Do not run after concepts. Do not try to be what you are not. Otherwise, you will again be wrapped up in your concepts. Do not accept any worthiness. Do not qualify yourself. Your actions and the results are neither true nor everlasting. A rare one who is not deluded by the body form will understand this. He knows that the world is born within his consciousness. Do not be despondent. Take courage. Recognize all this and go about your daily living. You will understand that sorrow is like a child's plaything. The first thing each being feels is that it is. It is time-bound. One who gets this knowingness is eternal. What rises also sets. The knowingness quietly ends and all is peace. You are the knower of that which transcends time. That which is timeless is surely known to you, but you do not have time to discriminate. That which is unknown to the mind exists prior to the feeling I am. The birth of mind can be called the birth of God or Brahman, the manifest, the influence of Brahman. The creation is very tortuous. Only the Sat Guru can remove it. Therefore, keep the Guru's word. Then you will not be harmed by this influence. Insist that you are God. Through him, go beyond him. All this is material knowledge. Remember that you are not an object. One who is beyond any qualities, beyond the feeling I am, is timeless. Time comes and goes, but the eternal truth is as it is. It has no color, no design. It is timeless. It is neither small nor big. One who understands this gives up all ideas of worthiness and becomes the smallest of the small. Body consciousness is a misery. One who entertains doubts about the Guru will not get peace anywhere.